Hello, my name is Barbara Aguirre, and I am doing my informative speech for Dr. Mosley of St. Philip's College. This is my outline. And these are my flashcards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good afternoon, fellow classmates. Today I will be talking to you about childhood obesity and our fight for our future, our children. What is childhood obesity? What are the contributing factors and how do they affect our children? What are the preventative treatments of childhood obesity? How many of you know someone who has a child suffering from obesity? Childhood obesity is growing at an alarming rate and affects 1 out of 3 children in the United States. It has no specifics when it comes to gender or age, but prevalent to the Hispanic, African American, and Native American populations. First, let's talk about what childhood obesity is. According to the CDC, childhood obesity is a label for ranges of weight that are generally considered for a given height. The term also identifies ranges of weight that have been shown to increase the likelihood of certain diseases and other health problems. The Obesity Society Council found that and states that childhood obesity has several contributing factors, which include but are not limited to poor food choices, poor eating habits, and formula feeding versus breastfeeding. Now, next, let's take a look at where childhood obesity comes from, how one becomes an obese child, and what are the consequences of childhood obesity. There are several contributing factors associated with childhood obesity. Genetic factors, as in the rare genetic disorder called Prader-Willi syndrome. Behavioral factors, which include poor choices in food intake, diets higher in calories, poor eating habits, skipping meals, or failure to maintain a regular eating schedule can result in increased intakes when food is eaten. Physical activity versus sedentary activity. Environmental factors, making sure that you have the support in the home, within child care or school, and the support of the community by way of organized sports, playgrounds, and walking and hiking trails and bike trails if possible. The consequences can have short and long-term effects, from potential negative psychological effects like depression, poor body image, low self-esteem, and risk of eating disorders, to even more serious health consequences such as type 2 diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and triglyceride levels, to sleep apnea, orthopedic problems, and non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which is fatty inflammation in the liver. Last but not least, let's talk about what my options are if I am told that my child is obese. What steps are there to prevent childhood obesity? Seek medical treatment options. Parents whose children fall into the at-risk for overweight category should discuss with their pediatrician or family doctor and should carefully monitor their child's growth. They should also routinely promote physical activity, recommend limitation of television and video time to a maximum of 2 hours per day. Give self-help treatment options, which are routinely promote fruits and vegetables as opposed to high fat and high sugar snacks. Use small portions. Break, boil, roast, or grill meats instead of frying them. Be active as a family. Support participation in healthy and physical activity. Avoid eating while watching television, and become role models through actions. So to summarize what I just talked about, although childhood obesity is a label for ranges of weight and a term that also identifies ranges of weight that have been shown to increase the likelihood of certain diseases and other health problems, obesity can appear because of genetics, behavioral, and environmental factors. We can help prevent childhood obesity by making better food choices, eating smaller portions, avoiding fried foods and foods high in sugar, and by getting active, getting up off the couch and heading outside to play at least 1 hour a day. Childhood obesity is a serious matter of life, and if gone untreated, can have harmful effects in the adulthood. Childhood obesity is not something that should keep you from living a long and prosperous life. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen and hope that you learned something from my speech today.
This is my audience.